Betheny Manktelow here. Welcome to our Millwall fan show with some new voices, but the same focus. Just everything Millwall. Enjoy!
Welcome to the 2023-24 series of Millwall's No One Likes Us Talking, our Millwall fan show. I'm your host, Gary Staff, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of George Lampey, Betheny Manktelow, and Myles Thornton.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Hi, George.
Hello, Gal. Nice
Hi,
to see you. Talk to you.
Yeah, indeed. Hi, Bethany. I hope I said it right.
You did, yeah, bang on. That's my new surname and you said it perfectly, so
Cool. And welcome, Mr. Myles.
Hello, Gary. You're right.
Yeah, all good. All good. So, the first team has been on international break this week, and later in the show, I'll be talking through how the Lions, who were on tour with their relevant countries, got on. But for now, let's discuss how England got on. Start with you, George. I know you only saw the Scotland game, so we'll start with that one for you. How do you think England fared in that game? And
Well, I'm always happy when England beat Scotland because I know how much pleasure they get in beating us. So I look at it from a different point of view. I just think that I'm not a big Gareth Southgate fan. I've got to be honest. I think he's a little bit like Rowett. It's a bit like Marmite. You either love him or hate him. But I have to say that under England, I think under his leadership, England have become a real world force team. We've always wanted to be like the Germans. When it comes to a tournament, we want to be feared by everybody, or you don't want to play them. I think when it comes to England now, under Gareth Southgate, nobody wants to play England because we're that good at, and I think he deserves all the credit for that. Yeah, I know it don't always work. Sometimes we have bad performances, but I think he gets us, he's got us right down the end of the line on all these tournaments, and I think he deserves a great deal of credit, actually.
can't disagree. Bethany, your thoughts? Not just on the Germany game. Yeah, Scotland game.
I can't really comment too much. I've been a little bit busy of late.
No excuse, Bethany. Getting married is not an excuse. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't start throwing in excuses like that, Bethany, just because you got married.
I was busy getting married on my mini moon. I can't.
Yeah. So,
I didn't
go on,
really.
Bethany. You can't.
Yes,
really
I
That's
really
fine.
didn't.
Anyway, congratulations, Bethany, for more than
Thank
on the
you.
No One Likes Us Talking. Myles, I suppose it's up to you then to carry the ship.
Wow,
Sorry,
no pressure.
Myles.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a decent international break. I'd expect a win against Scotland, and I'd hope for a win against Ukraine, but we drew. So, yeah, we're still 6 points clear at the top. So.
But here's a thought on the Ukraine game. Do you think it was just play out a nice draw, guys? Just make everyone happy. I know it's a little bit controversial, but with the way the world is at the moment,
yeah, maybe.
Happy.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, because I think they were very happy with the point they were celebrating. So, indeed. Cool. Okay. We'll take a break there and hear our sponsors, G&M Motors.
Hi, this is Jess Tuffield from G&M Motors. Operating from a modern and purpose-built facility in Milton Road, Gravesend, G&M Motors offers a complete range of new Honda cars and services. As well as new Hondas, we have an extensive range of used cars, including ex-Motability cars from a variety of manufacturers. Specialising in new Honda cars, G&M Motors has been retailing quality new and used vehicles to the people of Kent and South East London for over 4 decades. We have been a Honda dealership since 1972 and are the country's longest serving supplier of this renowned marque. Conveniently sited just 2 miles from the A2, 10 miles from the M25 and Dartford Crossing, visitors to our showroom are assured a warm welcome from our experienced and friendly staff. Our facilities include an on-site workshop capable of providing full vehicle servicing and repairs, as well as an extensive parts department offering genuine Honda parts and accessories. The expertise of our skilled mechanics is not limited to just Hondas, but extends to most makes and models of motor vehicles. Whatever your motoring needs, visit us at G&M Motors today. The newly extended hours of our G&M headquarters means that you can contact us from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Saturdays. To contact us, call us today on 01474 365 026.
Thank you, Jess. Debbie Julian's here. Don't forget to call Jess on 01474 813562. G&M Motors have been dear friends with the Julians family for over 4 decades now. From my dad Lenny to me, Debbie, Lions together.
I'm your host, Gary Staff, and with me I have the No One Likes the Talking team of George, Bethany and Myles. Many thanks to our sponsors, G&M Motors. Why not go along and see what they have on site for you? Right, our first guest tonight was born in Doncaster in 1980. He started his playing career for Broadsworth Welfare before moving on to Huddersfield Town, who purchased him for £2,000, where he played 248 times over 10 years. He then moved on to Yeovil before signing for the Lions in 2009, where he played 67 times, scoring 9 goals. When he left the Lions, he went back up north to Rotherham, where a couple of loan spells at Accrington and Stockport occurred. He then moved into non-league with spells at Halifax, Bradford Park Avenue and Middleton Over Sports. Once he hung up his boots, he moved back to Huddersfield to start his coaching career, which included a spell as the manager in 2022, which ultimately ended in him being relieved of his duties. A spell in charge of Doncaster followed, but that unfortunately ended the same way. I think you all know who we're talking about. Welcome to the show, Danny Schofield.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Danny. You okay?
Yeah, good. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah,
good. Thanks.
Not so bad. So, Danny, before I pass you off to this lot tonight, what was your journey to professional football like in getting started at Huddersfield up there?
Yeah, it was an interesting one as a young player because I never went through a professional academy before I turned professional. So I used to go trialling all over the place, but it was always the same messages for me: not quick enough, not strong enough, and ultimately not deemed good enough to get into the academy.
I don't believe that. Danny, not quick enough. I don't believe that.
Yeah, but the best thing is when you get a little bit older, you start physically developing. So I ended up playing non-league for Broadsworth Miners Welfare, and then a scout called Jeff Lee, who were working at Huddersfield at the time, he came and invited me for a trial. I went up to Huddersfield and I was trialling for, it must have been about 2 or 3 months, and then eventually they offered me an 18-month contract, and the rest is history, so to speak.
What age was that, Danny?
I was a first-year pro, so I was too old for the youth team, so I'd have been just turning 18 at the time.
Oh, blimey. So,
yeah.
So what?
Hi, Danny. It's George here.
Hey, George.
All right, mate. Always lovely to talk to you. You joined the Lions in 29. How did that come about, mate? How did that move come about?
Yeah, well, I'd left Huddersfield after a 9-year career there, 9-year spell, and went to Yeovil for a short period of time, and had a really good couple of seasons at Yeovil Town, and then did enough to impress Millwall. And then when a club like Millwall come, I didn't have to think twice. It were a fantastic move for me, and thoroughly enjoyed my time there.
Danny, you say a club like Millwall. What was, as a professional footballer then, what are Millwall then? Are Millwall seen as one of the bigger clubs? Because that's the first time I think I've ever heard an ex-player actually say that, funny enough.
Well, we were playing League One at the time, and Millwall were in League One. So I think as a League One club, Millwall was a big club, or is a big club at League One level. And just the stadium, hearing about the fans and how passionate they were, that were enough for me to say, right, this is a big club, this is the next step in my career, and this is where I want to go. And I've always wanted to be challenged, and it was the next step for me, moving from Yeovil to Millwall.
Fair enough.
Hi, Danny. It's Bethany here.
Hi, Bethany.
Hiya. So you played in that unbelievable game at the Valley in December 2009, which ended 4-4, scoring the equaliser in the 92nd minute. What was it like to play in that game?
Yeah, I was on the bench in that game, and I remember watching it thinking it were just so end-to-end and lots of chances. It must have been brilliant for the fans to watch. And just itching to get onto the pitch really, and to get the equaliser, and feel that emotion and the energy from the supporters. It was fantastic, really. I remember my celebration. It was horrendous, actually. I remember the pitch being rock hard. It was icy, and I tried to do a Klinsmann dive and sort of scraped all the front of my body. So, that weren't a very good memory related to that game.
I can actually tell you a funny story to that game, Danny. I was with my mate, Barry, and it had been snowing as well, hadn't it? It was really a really horrible day.
Freezing.
Yeah, we got to London Bridge, so literally it was like an episode of Plane, Trains and Automobiles. So I got to London Bridge, we had a couple there, got on the tube. We went down to London Bridge to get the tube over to East Greenwich, and then we were going to walk round. Got to London Bridge tube. They said no more trains are going that way. Obviously, they got too many Millwall fans going that way. We then got a taxi to East Greenwich. Then we couldn't get any further from East Greenwich, so we then got on a bus and then had to walk. So literally, we took so many different forms of transport to get there. Got there just as the game started, and then obviously Morrow opened the scoring quite early, didn't he, in that one?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Hi, Danny. It's Myles here. So, the 2009-2010 season ended in promotion via the playoffs against Swindon at Wembley. What was it like to be part of the promotion-winning side and playing at Wembley?
Yeah, it was a fantastic moment. Probably one of the highlights of my career, that entire season, and finishing it off with a promotion. I tell this short story all the time about when I first signed for Millwall, and I walked into the changing rooms at the training ground, and I had a sense that it was just full of winners. I had a real good feeling in terms of the people that were there, the players, the staff, and I thought, I'm going to be playing in a team where we're not losing many football games here. You could just sense it and feel it, and to be able to play a big part in that season, play a lot of games and get promotion, particularly after suffering the defeat in the final in the previous season against Scunthorpe. I think it were brilliant. It were a great feeling, and memories created for everyone associated with the club.
And who were the standout characters in there, mate?
There was a few, really. Neil Harris, Paul Robinson, David Ford, Chris Hackett, Alan Dunn. I could probably name the whole changing room, to be honest. And even though we don't speak often now, you move on quickly in football. Whenever we bump into each other, there's always good conversations. I actually bumped into Paul Robinson on a coaching course at St George's Park. And the first thing I said to me is, "You've not thanked me yet for setting you up for the winner." And he turned around and he thanked me because I put the corner in for his goal, which was a great moment.
I still wonder where he was putting it when he side footed. I thought, what angles did he actually putting that in at?
Yeah, Robbo was just kicking it, weren't he? I don't think he was aiming for the
goal. We were all happy with the result, Dan, weren't we? Anyway.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I think. Yeah. Go on, sorry.
Go on, mate. No, go on, Dan.
No, I was just saying, like, that experience at Wembley, I think the fans actually won the game for us, because when we walked out and you could just see masses of navy blue in comparison to the red of Swindon, it were no contest. So great feeling.
I'm trying to think who went through and where the ball bobbled, didn't it, and put it wide against Ford.
Charlie Austin,
that was it. Yeah, that was a moment. But I actually think, though, don't you, Danny? If Austin had scored that, we had another level we could have gone up to win that game anyway, wouldn't we?
Yeah, well, we were full of confidence. Look, anything can happen in football, but we'd had such a good season and we had a lot of belief within us, whatever happened in the game. Kenny Jackett and Joe Gallen instilled a lot of confidence and belief in us to go and perform in any situation, and we managed to get over the line in that last game.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Danny, it's George again. Let's bring you back to the present times. How do you see the Lions getting on this season in the Championship? And more importantly, will you be watching Millwall and Leeds on Sunday?
Yeah, I'll certainly be watching that game. Yeah, that's an interesting one. But no, look, it's early days yet. I think there's only 5 games been played. It's such a tough division, the Championship. I've played in it and I've coached in it as an assistant and a head coach, and every game's very difficult to win. Everyone's at a very even keel. There's some top players and top coaching staff there. So the details are going to be the things that decide the games, I feel, week in, week out. So for any team, it's going to be really difficult. But yeah, certainly looking forward to the Leeds game.
Hi, Danny. So now that the transfer window is shut and international break is completed, how do you see the Lions' new recruits faring in the Championship this season?
Yeah, I think it always takes a bit of time to really gel and develop those relationships on the pitch. I think some develop more naturally than others, and others need more time on the training ground. But I think the squad at Millwall is strong, and it'll certainly be competing. And fingers crossed they do well, because I always like to support my old clubs.
Danny, you've had 2 spells at management and at Huddersfield and Doncaster. Are you looking to get back into it?
Yeah, well, it was short-lived, really, and sort of circumstances arose, which, particularly the Huddersfield one, which I found myself as the head coach for a short period of time. I certainly enjoyed the experience. It was very challenging, very demanding, but yeah, certainly enjoyed the roller coaster ride of it. And at the moment, just looking for that next opportunity, whether it is as an head coach, whether it's an assistant to a team, or to go back into the PDP phase as well, working with the under-18s and under-21s, which I really enjoyed. But my passion in my life's been football, so I just want to get back involved in some capacity, really.
Excellent. Danny, just to keep the conversation going, so who do you see as the runners and riders this season then in the Championship?
Good question. I think Norwich will be there. In terms of looking at their squad, I've worked with a few of their coaching staff as well, so I know them. I think they'll be really competitive. The usual, really, West Brom, although they've lost a few players this season, I think they'll be up there fighting. But it's probably, I'm not a gambling man, so I wouldn't like to put my hat on it. But yeah, like I said before, it's going to be really competitive. But I'd expect Norwich City certainly to be up there.
Fair enough. And obviously not Leeds then. Hey.
We'll see after the game on Sunday.
Indeed. Danny, it's been great to speak to you. But obviously we need a prediction for that aforementioned game on Sunday. What do you reckon? I'm
going to go for a high-scoring 3-2 Millwall.
Second one that today.
We're at that. We'll take that.
Yeah, what a great Sunday afternoon that would be.
It would.
Yeah.
But do we really want Leeds scoring 2 games at our place? Do we really want Leeds scoring 2 goals at our place? 3-0 would be better.
Well, you definitely take the 3 points, though.
Yeah. Is Bamford still playing for us, or is he out injured at the moment? I'm not sure. He played this season.
No, he's struggled, I think, of late. I think he struggled the back end of last season and the start of this season, but he's certainly a big miss.
Yeah. Be good to have him down there again. I unfortunately won't be there, but that's for other reasons, unfortunately. But Danny, great to speak to you. We'll get you on again soon.
Magic.
Pleasure. Love to you and your family, mate, and stay cool.
No, brilliant. Appreciate the chat. Speak to you later.
Cheers,
take care. Bye.
Thanks, Danny. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. We will take a break there and listen to the Matchday programme.
Hi, Bethany here. Want a Matchday programme? You'll find them with sellers outside the ground by the gates at Zampa Road, Stockholm Road and Senegal Road. They cost £1 and the sellers ask if you can have the right money, as change will be difficult. If you want to get a message, photos of special events, memorials, or just ones for good luck to be included, email smprogram@protonmail.com. That is smprogramme@protonmail.com. It's a great read.
I'm your host, Gary Staff, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of George, Bethany and Myles. Keep up the great work, Pat and the team. Let's hear from Ellis Barr. I'm so impressed with her progress and starting senior school now. Keep us posted on what you're up to, Ellis.
Hello, Ellis here, and I'm glad to be back talking about Millwall. I know many have watched my videos, so you will all know that I don't wear splints as much anymore. Thanks for your support along the way. It is now time to hear what all the Millwall teams are up to, and what is next for Gary and Rollitt's Lions. Come on, Millwall!
Thanks, Ellis, as always. We caught up with Paul Odin this week, talking Millwall Romans and Millwall Pride.
Hello, it's Paul Loading over at the Millwall Romans. Just with a quick update for the week. Nothing much to report on Sunday. Both teams were on a bit of a break, so we did have a big training game over at St Paul's in preparation for the season and the cup game, which is in a week on Sunday. I did manage to catch a little bit of the Lionesses game. Unfortunate loss for them against quite a good Dartford team, to be fair. But a valiant effort from them. It's just a shame they couldn't pick up or just edge a point towards the end there. This Sunday, we're kicking off at 1 p.m. at St Paul's, the Romans team, against Bosco FC. We played them a couple of weeks ago in a friendly and beat them. They're up for revenge. We wanted to get a really good training game in ahead of that cup game a week on Sunday against Leicester Wildcats. Playing against Bosco, they're going to be up for it. It's going to be a good physical game, get us in preparation, and hopefully we'll come off victorious again. That's 1 p.m. at St Paul's Sports Ground in Rotherhithe. This week for the Millwall team, I think it's going to be a tough game, obviously against Leeds at home on Sunday. We wish them all well. It'd be nice to pick up a few more points. I'm going to say a Millwall 1-0.
Thanks, Paul. We wish them all the best in the UK and Ireland GFSN Cup this next weekend. Jeff filed a report for Maritime Radio following the Lions game at home to Dartford women at the weekend also.
This is Jeff Burnage reporting on a second consecutive odd goal defeat for Millwall Lionesses. In brutally hot conditions at Salter Road, Rotherhithe, a much changed Millwall Lionesses side lost 2-1 to unbeaten table toppers Dartford women. Manager Keith Bonus had lost Hope Welsh to injury, and Grace Seeley had not yet recovered from her knee injury sufficiently to play. Then, in addition to that, traffic problems in Kent meant that regular defenders Sophie Chapman and Millie Connell were late reporting, and Bonus elected to make them substitute and to promote Tyra Poole and Emel Hussein to the starting lineup in the back four. A first half which was lacking in goalmouth action finished up 0-0, and we look forward to a better match in the second half, but it was even hotter to play in, and it was Dartford that took the lead when Nikki Dyatt scored following a second corner in succession. We then saw some opportunities for Millwall to get back into the game, but Emily Vaughan for Dartford made it 2-0. Before then, Millie Connell, on as a substitute and up for a free kick, headed home to make it 2-1 to Dartford, and that provided a frantic finish with many minutes of stoppage time being played due to injuries, water breaks and the rest of it. Unfortunately, it ended in 2-1 defeat for the Lionesses, and they will be hoping to do better next week and get back to winning ways when they play Dulwich Hamlet at Champion Hill, and that will be a 2:00 kick-off.
Thanks, Jeff. At least Keith Bonus did not lose hope. 2 new features this week in our roundup section. These are Lions on International Tour and Lions on Loan. Also, I'd like to thank Myles Thornton, our panellist tonight, for all this detail. So here I go. I'll start with the Lions on International Tour. Ida Morimaku stepped off the substitutes bench to score a dramatic stoppage time winner for Republic of Ireland's under-21s last week, with the Euro 2025 qualifier against Turkey locked at 2-2. The striker swept home in the 96th minute to spark wild celebrations in the Emerald Isle. Imaku was on the bench for the fixture against San Marino, but came on in the 66th minute following the third goal. Elsewhere, Kevin Nisbet and Scotland moved to the brink of qualifications for Euro 2024 by defeating Cyprus 3-0 in Larnaca. The striker was an unused sub for the Tartan Army, who met England in a prestige friendly on Tuesday night to celebrate the Scots' 105th anniversary. He was on the bench for that game. He didn't get on. It was a break to forget for George Saville, however, as Northern Ireland suffered back-to-back defeats against Slovenia and Kazakhstan, with Tom Bradshaw hoping to feature for Wales in Latvia on Monday night after being an unused substitute in their 0-0 draw with South Korea. Ramanese enjoyed game time for England's under-19s. Meanwhile, as he was involved both in the narrowed 1-0 defeat against Germany and the 4-2 win over Switzerland. Brooke Norton-Cuffy was named on the bench for the England under-21s on Monday evening, and that concludes the International Lions on tour. Next up, Lions on loan. Abdul Malik made his Wealdstone debut this weekend. The under-21 striker played 68 minutes for his new club as they defeated Ebbsfleet 2-1 in the Vanarama National League before being replaced by Olafur Alomina. Chinnacoli and Bromley, meanwhile, continued their solid start to the campaign by defeating Maidenhead 4-1 in the Kent Sunshine, following a partnership with Byron Webster at the back. Forming a partnership with Byron Webster at the back. Okoli played the full 90 minutes as the Ravens eased to a success, courtesy of strikes from Michael Cheek, Lewis Dennis and Sam Woods. Elsewhere, Nana Boateng stepped off the bench to play the final 5 minutes of Woking's 1-1 draw with Solihull Moors. Joe Wright was an unused substitute in Salford's 2-1 home loss to Walsall, and Alex Mitchell enjoyed a weekend off as Lincoln City's game with Oxford was postponed due to international call-ups. So, upcoming fixtures. Abdul Malik is playing for Wealdstone v Altrincham on Saturday the 16th of September, 3 o'clock kickoff. Chinnacoli is playing Bromley versus Oldham Athletic, also on the 16th of September at 3 o'clock. Nana Boateng is playing for Woking against Hartlepool United, Saturday the 16th of September, kickoff 3 p.m. Joe Wright, Salford versus Notts County, Friday the 15th of September, 7:45 kickoff. And last but not least, Alex Mitchell playing for Lincoln City versus Carlisle, Saturday the 16th of September, kickoff at 3 p.m. Whew. Anyway.
Well done, Gary.
Thank you. Anyway, next up for the Lions are Leeds United. Well, the Millwall versus Leeds dynasty is having an upper episode this Sunday. So head-to-head, there has been 40 meetings, with the Lions being one ahead on 18 wins, with Leeds on 17. The last meeting was up at Ellen Road, which saw the Lions lose 3-2. However, we do have a very good record at home against Leeds at the Den. Leeds are currently on 6 points, one less than the Lions on 7. So both have had very indifferent starts to the season. What do we reckon? George, I will start with you.
Well, this is always a game to look forward to, isn't it? You know, they will bring plenty of supporters. I think they believe they're still a huge club, and in fact they are actually, so there's no getting away from that. I think this is going to be a really tight game, actually. I think they will score. I think we will score. I'm going to go 2-2, actually.
Oh, Desmond.
Yeah.
Bethany?
Well, it's definitely going to be an interesting atmosphere, isn't it? It's going to be nasty, it's going to be spicy, and the players all know how much this rivalry means. But I have to go with a Millwall win. I just have to. I can never go with a Millwall draw or loss. I can't do it. So I'm going to go with 2-1. I think is what I'm going to go with.
And young Myles.
I'm going to agree with Bethany. We can't lose to Leeds at home, and I'm going to go 1-0 Millwall.
Ooh, that'd be tight. I'm going to go and be really optimistic. As I said, I'm not going to be there on Saturday. I'm going to be at a festival in Leicester. Absolutely gutted when I booked the tickets. It was on the Saturday, then it got changed to the Sunday, and I'm beyond gutted, if I'm to put it rightly. I even thought about not even going to the concert, but my wife would have disowned me, I think. Anyway, I'm going to go for be a bit more optimistic. I think when we're on form, and we are good at home. We are good at home. I know we've had a bit of indifference lately, but when we get going on days like Sunday, the crowd really get behind them. I know there's been some fun ones in the past, but I think we're going to stroll out 3-0 against the Leeds on Saturday. Just a note to add, Leeds United and Millwall players join forces in a rare show of unity as clubs make chanting plea to fans. Leeds United and Millwall players have come together to urge supporters to be respectful of each other ahead of the two clubs meeting this weekend. We will take a break there and hear all about the amazing Lions Food Hub.
Hi, Harvey Brown here. I am proud of the Lions Food Hub, which is jointly owned by Kelly and Ellen Webster, and they have been supporting families within our community for over 2 years on Millwall match days. If you would like to donate to them, they have a match day donation hub by the SE16 bar at Coldblow Lane, end of the ground, where they accept any food or money and toiletry donations. If you can help, any donations will be received with thanks.
I'm your host, Gary Staff, and with me I have the No One Likes a Talking team of George, Bethany and Myles. Kelly and the team are always looking for donations, so if you want to help them with the food hub, it's positioned at the back of the Coldblow Lane stand and will be there, as always, against Leeds on Sunday. Our second guest tonight, a supported Millwall man and boy. He attended Forest Hill Senior School. His grandfather played Let 'Em Come at the Ritz, where he was the resident pianist, and has appeared on TikTok being questioned about the mullet haircut. But his major claim to fame is being beaten by Brian Dowling on the killer question on Beat Brian. Welcome to the show, Sam Gardiner.
Oh, wow. Some introduction, that. Hello.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Sam. So you've been supporting the Lions man and boy. What was the first game you went to and how old were you, mate?
Oh, wow. The first game I went to, and I actually had the ticket recently when I moved out, was 1995, obviously at the New Den against Huddersfield. I believe it was a Tuesday or it was a weeknight. And I found that ticket actually recently, so that's quite funny that you asked that, because I might not have remembered. But I was 4 then. Four and a half, yeah.
No, that's what I was, 4.5.
Some time ago now. Nearly 32 next week.
Dear, wait till you get to your 40s, mate. You've seen some rubbish by then.
Not too far away.
Indeed.
Sam, it's George here. It's 30
Hi,
years at what we still call is the New Den. What is your most memorable game that you have seen there?
Oh, wow. I was thinking about this the other day. I mean, the first one that springs to mind, just because of atmosphere, I always remember a Friday night against Wolves, 1-0, Steve Claridge penalty late on. It might not have been the most important game because we've had some, many big wins over the years, but that atmosphere has always stood out to me. I'm not sure if anyone remembers that night. Steve Claridge penalty. There's been some big ones. I mean, the playoffs against Bradford, that was some evening. Big, with the game this weekend with Leeds, there's been some quality ones against them. We've had a pretty good record against them at home. But I can't believe it's 30 years. It's an old new ground, isn't it now? So, but it still retains that atmosphere, that unique atmosphere on there.
Hi, Sam. Do you think the players that have been brought into the team have enhanced our side at all?
Yeah. I think it can't do us any. It can only do us favours, should I say. I mean, we seem to have from defensive midfield to midfield and slightly more attacking. There's so many players in a similar position that I think that the competition can only be good. If someone's not taken off one of the new signings, then you've got good competition with Saville and Mitchell, who were pretty solid last season. And I think when you've got that kind of competition, whoever gets in the team, they're going to have deserved it that week in training, last week's performance.
Yeah, you make a good point. I was just saying before.
It's massive for us.
Sam, what sides, in what appears to be the most strong championship season ever, what sides pose the greatest threat to our progress, do you think?
Do you know what? I mean, it's so hard to answer that in the championship at the best of times. But I think just those clubs, the kind of yo-yo clubs that have 2 or 3 seasons up and down, the West Broms, the Norwiches, they're always going to be there or thereabouts. I mean, it's a toughie. I fancy there'll be a couple of surprises this year. But then again, in the championship, I guess what is a surprise? Do you know what I mean? I'm hoping that we've had a pretty even start, haven't we? I mean, 2 wins, 2 defeats, and a draw in the league. I think if we can get a couple of results here and just start to push forward, because I can feel the negativity at the moment already after a couple of results haven't gone our way. So, yeah. Fair
enough. Sam, thanks for joining us. I know we've had a few fun and games there with the popping in and out, but
apologies.
That's all right. Leeds on Sunday, mate. Prediction for us?
I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win 3-1. I can see us scoring early. I think that's important. when we've got a crowd like we're going to have. Our crowd, we've actually been, our home record of a packed den over last season was actually not like what usually happens. So hopefully we can kind of turn that around, score early, and put it to bed in the second half.
Indeed. I don't know, have Leeds got the whole end or just the top this weekend?
That's a good question. I mean, I can't imagine we'd give them the bottom, even though we have on a few occasions, but or given other teams, but not sure.
Yeah, it does seem to make for a better atmosphere when the top and bottom's done lately. Anyway.
Yeah, I've quite liked it when there's been Millwall fans in the top tier as well.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. Do that for this one.
Indeed. Thanks, Sam. It's been great to hear from you, and we wish you all the best for the future, and many thanks for coming on. Bye for now.
Yeah, Tom, man. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
Cheers, Sam.
Cheers, Sam. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, Sam.
We'll take a break there and listen to our panellists tonight, Bethany Warren, talking Clean Feed.
Bethany Manktelow here. Clean Feed by Ted Robinson.
Hold up. We're talking about an online recording platform.
Okay. Our Ted Robinson sponsors our online Clean Feed recording platform.
What were you thinking of?
Well, it sounded like a Parfum d'Homme Intense.
Really?
Behave. Just go online and see who else uses Clean Feed. It's a great bit of kit at a great price.
I'm your host, Gary Staff, and with me I have the No One Likes to See of talking team of George, Bethany, Manktelow, I'll say it right, apologies for the one before that, Bethany, and Myles. Myles, while we were listening to Clean Feed, reminded me that we've not mentioned Rotherham, who are our opponents on Wednesday next week, and will be played before we have our next show. So let's have a couple of predictions and a bit of talk around that. George, over to you first, mate.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this. I always like the evening kick-offs, so I think this is Wednesday night. Rotherham is not the biggest and most attractive of the championship teams, but that doesn't mean they're not capable of doing very well against us. But I do feel confident on this occasion, and I'm hoping very much so that we can beat them by maybe 2 or 3 goals.
Happy with that. Bethany, over to you.
Yeah, it should be a pretty good game. I was looking at the stats a little while ago, and we've got a 59% win probability, so I'm going to run with that, and I'm going to say 3-0.
And Myles, do you agree with them?
I do agree with them, and we haven't actually lost to them since 2018, so hopefully we can carry that on. I'm going to say 2-0.
I was actually going to say that these games to me are always like a little banana skin, and they're always the one you don't really want to be playing on a Wednesday night, and they just come down, sometimes nick a 1-0 win. But if Myles is right, I'm happy to keep that progression going, and I'll take a 2-0 home win, which will make us, if we beat Leeds on Sunday, 4 games unbeaten going into the weekend games. We will look forward to the next game. We were discussing, obviously, Leeds and Rotherham coming up. But in the meantime, here are a few matters of interest for our Millwall fans.
Millwall Community Trust have received recognition from Deputy Mayor of Lewisham, Brenda Dacris. Brenda commented on the great work that the MCT have been doing at Coniston College. MCT work in partnership with Coniston Borough College to help re-engage students in learning while developing the skills, knowledge and understanding necessary for employment in the sports industry section. Well done, the Millwall Community Trust. Good night, everybody.
Merv Payne's new book, 30, Millwall's 3 Decades at the Den, looks back at the highs and lows, thrills and spills of the 30 years since Millwall said goodbye to their famous old den. And in this interactive edition, you can watch some of that action too. It's out in October, but you can pre-order now, including signed copies online at Victory Publishing. Good night.
Starting from the 20th of September when we play Rotherham, a new batch of stadium tour dates are now on sale on the Millwall website. Walk the path many Lions legends have taken and feel the passion in SE16 on our 1-hour guided tour. The Den is one of the most iconic football stadiums in England, and it's probably a bit biased, but I'd also say the world, making it the perfect place to learn all about the colourful history and heritage of Millwall Football Club. The guided tour starts in the executive lounge before stopping off at various different locations within the stadium, such as the director's box, the press area, and the Paul Juggins media suite. Be quick though, because tickets do go fast. The tour is rounded off by taking the players' walk from the dressing room through the tunnel and out to the dugouts. The experience cannot end without making sure you grab a picture next to Gary Rowett's seat. Good night.
We hope you enjoyed our last show last week at Maritime Radio. And the good news is that we will be live again in October. Watch out for the details. Next Thursday, I will be back again with the No One Likes Us Talking team of Stan, Patricia and Jeff. Ooh, that could get tasty. Plus a guest or two. Don't forget, you'll be able to listen to the No One Likes Us Talking team bring reports from our games both home and away for both the Lions and Lionesses, and also updates on Millwall Community Matters too on Maritime Radio, broadcasting on 96.5 FM. Additionally, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, social media sites, and all popular podcast sites too. That's it from me. Thanks, George.
Thanks, Cal.
Thanks, Bethany.
Thanks, Gary.
And thanks, Myles.
Thanks, Gary.
Finally, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Good night.